I worked here in New York City for 45 years or more on disaster work. I started with the Red Cross and finished with FEMA. Back in the 70s, there was a fellow, I can't believe I remember his name Alan McDuffie. In the early 70s, he would go around, he paints with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and his job was to convince New York, the government, what was then the Office of Civil Preparedness, predated OEM, and state that the biggest hazard we faced were storm surges from hurricanes. And he painstakingly took all slides, so anybody old enough to remember slides, and he took pictures of famous places in New York, like the entrance to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel on the Manhattan side, and put a little transparent blue over the part where to show how high the water would be in a storm surge in a hurricane, in a Category 4 hurricane in New York City. He was kind of a voice crying in the wilderness. I got on his team. There was another professor from Queens College, and we were the three who were crying, prepare, prepare, prepare. And you know, it's not that the emergency managers like to say it's not if it will happen, it's when. Well, maybe not when. Your house may not ever burn down either, but you still want to have fire insurance. So when I visited as Federal Disaster Recovery Coordinator, visited PortSide, I hadn't heard of it up till then, and sat down with Carolina and other staff, and they suggested signs that show the high water mark for the community. I thought it was, I didn't have to think about it, it was perfect because I've had that background of being enlightened about what are the dangers of storm surge. And of course I also knew that after Sandy, it was only a year before that Hurricane Irene, well, I know it brought the water above the level of the bar at Rocky Sullivan's on Van Dyke Street. So it happened 2 years in a row. The more of these signs we can get around, the better it'll be to convince yourselves and your neighbors to do the single one thing that's so essential in a hurricane, is to, when emergency management says evacuate, don't rationalize, don't question, get out, and bring your neighbors, bring your vulnerable neighbors. It's the single life and death thing. Everything else is by comparison. You can lose property, you can inconvenience yourself, but your life is the most important thing you have, and that of your friends and neighbors. So I would just ask you to pay attention to PortSide. I guess most people here do, but it's an array of try everything to help educate the kids and adults, commemorate Red Hook's history as a maritime community, and to help make a more resilient Red Hook. Well, Omar, it's time.
One more second.